Imagine your users need some new YubiKeys. Normally, you need to call your colleagues to the IT department, and together with them, you need to enroll the YubiKeys. For example, to push any certificates on it or to activate the applications for USB and NFC slots, as well as to enter the PIN and PUC for PIF or FIDO2. At the end, you need to write down the serial number into your asset management or Excel sheet, as well as the user which got the YubiKey now, and there can happen some mistakes. It's much more easier to use Appterix because Appterix automates all these steps to manage YubiKeys. For example, if the user got a new YubiKey, the user doesn't need to go to the IT department. They can collect the YubiKey from a package, for example, and then plug in the YubiKey. The YubiKey will be inventoried automatically in background, and the user which has been logged into the operation system will be assigned to the YubiKey in the inventory. So this will be done automatically. Same for the enrollment. The IT department can create some enrollment policies, and if there's a new YubiKey for the user just needs to open the Appterix component, the client component, and click on Enroll. Then he can see the enrollment policies, which has been created by the IT department. Click on Yes, and the YubiKey will be prepared. Now the YubiKey can be used, for example, for FIDO2, for smart card authentication, Windows log on, and so on. And if the user wants to change his PIN for smart card authentication for PIF, for example, he can do it here directly. Same for FIDO2. FIDO2 pin can be resetted or set also here in the Appterix agent component. If the user has lost his YubiKey, he can click on report as lost, and after the YubiKey has been found, for example, if the YubiKey has been plugged into another computer in the company network, then the user will get the YubiKey back much more easier because the IT department will be notified automatically. And if the user plugs in a YubiKey which is not allowed to be used in the company because it's outdated, like the YubiKey 4, it can be blocked, as you can see here. So the user can use the YubiKey for his own private purposes, but not for company purposes. This is what the user sees. It's very easy to be used and automates a lot. And in the centralized management, which is available as software as a service, so managed service provider can also use it as a managed service or on-prem. This centralized management got all information now about my new YubiKey. So if I click on the YubiKey, like here, I can see, okay, after the enrollment, which has been done, these interfaces have been activated and these applications are active now or deactive. I can also see the user, which has been logged on at the first usage. So this is the owner. I can also change it. And if the certificates have been stored on the YubiKey, I can see it here as well. In the journal, you can see the activities which has been done, like the connections of YubiKey, the enrollment which have been done, and so on, if pins have been changed, etc. Under certificates, you can see the certificates which have been created or stored on the YubiKey, like here, this YubiKey got this certificate, as you can see here. And if you want to have some more information about this YubiKey and its certificate, you can go directly to this YubiKey in the inventory, and then you can see some further information about this YubiKey, like the owner, the certificates which have been stored, as you can see here, etc. And the enrollment can also be done very easy. So you just need to create or to edit an enrollment policy. Here you can say, okay, this enrollment policy is to reset the PIF. So you can change the PIN and PUC and management key. You can also say the PIN and PUC should have some minimum criteria. I will show you later in the settings. Here, you can also activate and deactivate the applications for NFC and USB, as well as the possibility to reset the FIDO2 functionality. If you want to store certificates on your YubiKey, you can use the ADCS connector in the YubiKey management of Appterix. So it's very easy to create certificates. You don't need to create an own certificate template. It will be done automatically, and the certificates will be requested and stored on the YubiKey automatically. So there's no further need to do on the user side or IT department side. You can also use the enrollment, which you have seen before, for these purposes. And you can also store some certificates, some other certificates on the slots you can select here of the YubiKey by the PEM file. And after you have created the enrollment, you just need to select which users should be assigned to this enrollment policy. So you can select the users as well as the groups. And then these users and group members will get these enrollments. As mentioned, you can also set the minimum policy for or complexity for PIN and PUC, for PIF and FIDO2. And you can get information or notification if, for example, a YubiKey has been lost or found, has been blocked but plugged in, or a new YubiKey has been detected. And there's also the possibility to define on user and group side that if a YubiKey has been plugged in and plugged off of the computer, that the screen should be locked. So you can also say lock computer if the YubiKey has been unplugged. This can be done here as well. So as you can see, you can manage YubiKeys much more easier by our YubiKey management in Appterix. Enrollment can be done much more faster and easier and with less issues. And in our dashboard, journal, and inventory, as well as certificate overview, you've got the whole transparency about the usage, about YubiKeys, and so on. Get more secure, but more easier with Appterix YubiKey Management.